Right now, I'm thinking back on the second in the trilogy of Indiana Jones movies done in the 80s. Of course, there was the really weird fourth Indiana Jones movie done in the aughts, Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of the Crystal Skull. I scarcely think that even qualifies as authentically an Indiana Jones movie. But the second one, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, is the one that I think is most worthy of attention because it's the one that has gotten the most criticism. It's the one that has received even some accusations of racism for its portrayal of Indian people and their their supposed cuisine, fried monkey brains and eels that come out of a big snake when they cut it in half or something like that. Just ridiculous stuff. Um, but what I think is really kind of interesting with regard to Temple of Doom, and again, just to review, to circle back and discuss why I'm discussing this at all. Indiana Jones, in addition to Star Wars, was one of the formative, imaginative aspects of my childhood and therefore of my young life and therefore of my life in general. If I didn't fantasize about being in some kind of Star Wars scenario, then it was in some Indiana Jones kind of scenario. If I wasn't out in outer space fighting battles in my spaceship, going to other planets and things like that, then I was traveling around the world seeking treasure and fighting off evil people and you know religious relics and weird crazy occult stuff that happens, and good versus evil, and you know traveling from place to place, exotic locale to exotic locale, that kind of thing. So Indiana Jones was a huge formative aspect of my young life, and of course now seeing things with a new pair of eyes as I have over the last 5 or 6 years with regard to Pedogate and the aspects of the degree to which so much of the entertainment industry, as well as all other industries that are big and powerful and moneyed, the degree to which child abuse is endemic to these different industries and venues and sectors of power. I've I've come to see how, well, I'm not going to speak specifically with regard to Spielberg and certain allegations, but I will say that there is an aspect to the very first Indiana Jones movie, which I discussed in a prior video that has now been erased, but maybe I'll circle back to that at some point later if I feel like it, where a strange and discomforting pedo subtext arises between Indiana Jones and his female love interest, Marion Ravenwood, because the history that they have together suggests that he seduced her when she was young, like underage. We don't know exactly. We're not told exactly how young, but she was young enough to be angry with him when they meet up and to say, you know, I was a child, it wasn't right. And it also broke up his friendship with Marion's father. So it's not clear exactly, you know, what took place between them and to what extent it was over the line. It was obviously over the line to some degree or other, but was she 16? Uh, was she 17? Was she 13? Was she 12? It's not really told. We're not given to understand that, but that does color our opinion of the hero of the story, Indiana Jones, the swashbuckling hero. If he is somebody who gets with young girls and doesn't even regard the fact that they are that she's the daughter of his best friend. That suggests a serious moral problem. Now, in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, we've got a couple of discomforting subtexts. First of all, there's the issue of Short Round. Short Round is the Chinese boy that Indy is friends with and just hangs around with from beginning to end. The movie takes place, it opens in Shanghai, India. That's where the opening set piece takes place. And Short Round is the cab driver who drives him away. Him and Willie, the showgirl played by Kate Capshaw. But he's like 12. So and then they end up in India at this palace or first in this village that's all impoverished, and then in this palace where there's this evil cult called the Thugi, which is based on an apparently real cult, although of course liberties were taken. Now, the first discomforting subtext is, why is Indy hanging around with a 12-year-old boy? What is that all about? Where did he come from? Where did they meet? Is the boy an orphan? Doesn't he belong with his parents? There's nothing explicit in the movie that suggests that there's anything untoward between Indy and this boy, but I do think it's proper to look at it askance, particularly with the context that we know so much more about what the industry does to children, at least behind the scenes. Would it be so strange to see it, something like that, flaunted, cinematically flaunted? I'd call it a revelation of the method, or call it what you will. I don't know. But it is an odd circumstance for the hero of this movie, a grown man, 35 to 40 years of age, to have a 12-year-old boy for his best friend and his traveling companion. It doesn't feel right. Something is definitely off about that. Now, furthermore, there is this further subtext. Something that makes this movie intriguing is how it tries to marry this weird, gross out slapstick, by today's standards, borderline racist humor, such as the banquet scene that I just described with the chilled monkey brains and the Indians acting all acting like they're all like they just think it's delicious to slurp down live eels and stuff like that, which they didn't actually do. But also, it marries that sort of vibe with this very dark, brutal, violent, subtext, if you will. And it's my understanding that this was the movie that first brought about the PG-13 rating. I mean, that's the official story anyway. I don't know. We never know what the real story is, but that's what they say. they say that this movie got a PG rating, but a lot of people said, wait a minute, this is PG? Doesn't look like a PG movie to me. This has got some pretty extreme graphic stuff. We have a scene in which a man is lowered into a sacrifice pit with fire, and then his heart is pulled out of his chest. And that it's there's a lot of scenes like that. There's this. But let me get to the point regarding Pedogate and possible connections. The subtext, or it's not a subtext, it's part of the story. Part of the story involves this village that's been impoverished since the people at this palace, this Thugi cult, stole these relics called the Shankara stones, which are said to have these mystical powers. And they also took the children away. The children were all gone. And it turns out that beneath this opulent palace, there's this mine where I can't remember what they're digging for. They're digging for something, but I guess I need to see the movie again. It's been a little while, but they've got these children that they're just working to death, and they've made them all drink this blood, or this I think it's blood, that puts them in this trance, and just makes them absolute mind slaves to the leader of this cult. Now, Mola Ram. That's right, Mola Ram. And it's at one point Indiana Jones is forced to drink this blood potion, whatever it is, and he becomes enslaved as well. So a lot of darkness, and we, I don't know, child slaves. This powerful cult stealing away the children, forcing them to work as slaves, essentially. Again, there's nothing shown suggesting that they're being exploited sexually, but still, I think in the light of everything we know now about Hollywood and how it operates, and the Spielberg connection as well, I don't take anything away from Spielberg's talents, but, well, anyway, there's plenty more that could be said, but I'm not going to say it right now. But there are others who have said things. Call it innuendo if you want. I suppose it is, but some stuff that's definitely a little skeezy surrounding the man. Now, so these two things, this grown man having a young boy as a constant companion, is that sort of putting this in our face, this man-boy love association, which was, they had a lot of people in high places. They had Allen Ginsberg was a member of NAMBLA, and there were Hollywood connections, and certainly plenty of instances of exploitation of boys and girls too. But in this movie, it's all boys. It's both in the case of Short Round and in the case of these young Indian boys who get taken away, forced to work in these hellish conditions as mind slaves. I don't want to say in an eroticized state, but if you're a pervert, yeah, you'd see it as an eroticized state. These boys, just shirtless, wearing very little, working in these in this hot mine, digging, completely enslaved to this cult leader who likes to drink blood and tear the hearts out of human beings and burn people, commit human sacrifice to the gods that he believes in. So, I mean, there's a lot there. There's a lot there that really can make a person look askance, and it hasn't been touched on very much that I know of, so I just wanted to do so now. And believe me, I say all this as someone who is still, the boy in me, the 12-year-old boy in me, the 13-year-old boy in me, I mean, still, finds the whole Indiana Jones au revoir very thrilling, and it was definitely aesthetically informative of my childhood imagination. But all of these elements are definitely there and must be commented upon, and I'm commenting upon them now. Thanks for watching. My name's Andy Nowicki. You can check out my work at altrightnovelist.com.